Jai Saparikar Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju Ki Jai Shri Giraj Govardhanju Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pari Brajakacharya Astater Sita Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pari Brajakacharya Astater Sita Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai, welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission morning class. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Chita Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Svapadantikam. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, continuing to read the 7th chapter of the Adi Leela. This will probably be the last little bit. And Mahaprabhu in Lord Chaitanya in 5 features. Now Mahaprabhu is continuing to explain the very simple and obvious statements of the Brahma Sutra. All right. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakti Vrinda. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai Srila Om Vishnupadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Text 139. Swarupa Aishvarjetana Ma Nahi Maya Ganda Shakala Vedera Hoy Bhagavan Se Sambandha. In his original form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full with transcendental opulences, which are free from the contamination of the material world. To be understood, it is to be understood that in all Vedic literature, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal, which is, of course, why Srila Vyasadeva wrote this Srimad Bhagavatam as the ripened fruit of the Veda. Text 140. Tare nirvishesha kahi chit chakti namani Arda Swarupana Manile Purnatahayahani. When we speak of the Supreme as impersonal, we deny his spiritual potencies. Logically, if you accept half the truth, you cannot understand the whole. So obviously there are many potencies. And to deny that fact, that is foolishness. In the Upanishad it is said, Om Purnamada Purnamidang Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. In this verse, which is mentioned in the Ishopanishad, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, and many other Upanishads, indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in 6 opulences. Do you remember any of those?
Wealth, fame, strength.
Yeah, wealth, strength, beauty.
I know the last one, but
yeah, the last one is
renunciation.
And wealth, fame, beauty, knowledge. He is the absolute truth, so there's no dearth of knowledge there. Very good, Prabhu. His position is unique, for he possesses all riches, strength, influence, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Influence meaning fame. Brahman means the greatest, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is greater than the greatest, just as the sun globe is greater than the sunshine, which is all-pervading in the universe. Although the sunshine that spreads all over the universes appears very great to the less knowledgeable, greater than the sunshine is the sun. So all these opulences are there, but he's greater than them. And greater than the sun is the sun god. Similarly, impersonal Brahman is not the greatest, although it appears to be so. That is like the effulgence of the sun. Impersonal Brahman is only the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the transcendental form of the Lord is greater than both the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma. Therefore, whenever the word Brahman is used in the Vedic literature, it is understood to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavan prapti hetu jay kari upaya Shravanadi Bhakti Krishna Praptira Sahaya. It is only by devotional service, beginning with hearing, that one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the only means to approach him. How else? I cannot even get to know anyone unless I have some relationship of affection and all those things. We even will not, reveal who we really are to just some guy who wants to investigate us or something like that. That isn't, we're just like little pieces of dust. So it is only through real affection, actual devotion and affection, that one can understand the Lord. There's no other way possible. Text 142. Se sarva vedera abideya nama sadhana bhakti haite hai premera udgama. By practicing this regulated devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, certainly one awakens his dormant love of Godhead. This process is called? Yes, and that particular part of it is abideya, the practice. Yeah, very good. Krishnara charane hai jari anuraga Krishna binu yatra tara nahira he raga. If one develops his love of Godhead and becomes attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, gradually he loses his attachment to everything else. So why do you think he's saying this to the Mayavad philosophers, the Mayavadis? They're trying to get detached from matter. Mahaprabhu is saying, if one becomes attached to the lotus feet of the Lord sincerely, automatically he's detached from matter. This happens simultaneously. Otherwise, it's not really possible. This arduous, very difficult process of Gyan, over thousands of millions of years, it cannot really take one to a stable position, because it will only take the soul back to where he started from, which is the Brahman position. And from that position, we already fell down. So it's bound to happen again. If one develops his love of Godhead and becomes attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, gradually he loses his attachment to everything else. This is a test of advancement in devotional service. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhaktir pares anubhavo viraktir anyatracha. In bhakti, a devotee's only attachment is Krishna. He no longer wants to maintain attachments to many other things. Although Mayavadi philosophers are supposed to be very much advance on the path of liberation, we see that after some time, they descend into politics and philanthropic activities. And Srila Prabhupada has much experience about this. Those who are trying to, talk about, leaving and liberation and all these things, but then they get entangled in other kinds of activities because there's no satisfaction there. Okay. This is really nice here. Many big sannyasis who are supposed to be liberated and very advanced have come down again into materialistic activities, although they left this world as mithya or false. When a devotee develops in devotional service, however, he no longer has attachments to such philanthropic activities. He's simply inspired to serve the Lord and engages his entire life in such service. This is the difference between the Vaishnava and the Mayavadi philosophers. Devotional service, therefore, is practical, whereas Mayavad philosophy is merely mental speculation. Panchama Purusartha se prema mahadana Krishnera madhurya rasa karaya asvadana. Love of Godhead is so exalted that it is considered to be the fifth goal of human life. By awakening one's love of Godhead, one can attain the platform of conjugal love, tasting it even during the present span of life. It is not dependent upon leaving the body or anything. It is not dependent upon any kind of circumstance. Everything will be favorable for such a devotional life. It's beyond any influence of matter. Prema haite Krishna hai nija bhaktavas, prema haite pai Krishnera seva shukaras. The Supreme Lord, who is greater than the greatest, becomes submissive to even a very insignificant devotee because of his devotional service. The Lord himself, rather than being so difficult to attain by any other process, he becomes submissive to the pure-hearted, sincere devotee. It is the beautiful and exalted nature of devotional service that the infinite Lord becomes submissive to the infinitesimal living entity because of it. In reciprocal devotional activities with the Lord, the devotee actually enjoys the transcendental mellow of devotional service. Becoming one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not very important for a devotee. It looks insignificant. Mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevatesman, Krishna Charitamrta, speaking from his actual experience. Srila Bilvamangal Thakur says that if one develops love of Godhead, mukti, or liberation, becomes subservient and unimportant to him. Mukti stands before the devotee and is prepared to render all kinds of services. The Mayavadi philosopher's standard of mukti is very insignificant for a devotee, for by devotional service, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes subordinate to him. But this is in love. That quality of absolute, sincere, heartfelt love must be there. That is the relationship where the great can become submissive to the ordinary person. So those things must be understood. An actual example is that the Supreme Lord Krishna became the chariot driver of Arjuna. And when Arjuna asked him to draw his chariot between the two armies, Senayor Ubayor Majay Ratang Stapaya Mechuta, Krishna executed that order. Such is the relationship between the Supreme Lord and a devotee, that although the Lord is greater than the greatest, he is prepared to render service to the insignificant devotee by dint of his sincere and unalloyed devotional service. Sambandha abhideya prayojananam etina artha sarva shutre paryavasan. One's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, activities in terms of that relationship, and the ultimate goal of life to develop love of God. These three subjects are explained in every aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra, for they form the culmination of the entire Vedanta philosophy. That's it. Those three things are the conclusion. They are what the whole Vedanta Sutra is trying to say. In Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, it is said, Parabhavastavad abhodajato javana jigyasata atmatattvam. A human being is defeated in all of his activities as long as he does not know the goal of life, which can be understood when one is inquisitive about Brahman. Brahman meaning spirit. It is such inquiry that begins the Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. A human being should be inquisitive to know who he is, what the universe is, what God is, and what the relationship is between himself, God, and the material world. Such questions cannot be asked by cats and dogs, but they must arise in the heart of a real human being. Knowledge of these four items, namely oneself, the universe, God, and their internal relationship, is called Sambandha Gyan, or the knowledge of one's relationship. When one's relationship with the Supreme Lord is established, the next program is to act in that relationship. That is called abhideya, or activity in relationship with the Lord. After executing such prescribed duties, when one attains the highest goal of life, love of God, then he achieves prayojan siddhi, or the fulfillment of his human mission. In the Brahma Sutra, or the Vedanta Sutra, these subjects are very carefully explained. Therefore, one who does not understand the Vedanta Sutra in terms of these principles is simply wasting his time. So that's what Mahaprabhu is saying. It's like if you work really hard to go somewhere, but you don't know where you're going or how to get there, then you're just wasting your energy. Everything must be understood very carefully. Dharma svanustita pungshang vishvakshena katashuya notpadaya jadirating shrama eva kikevalam. One may be a very learned scholar and execute his prescribed duty in Varnashram very nicely, but if he does not ultimately become inquisitive about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is indifferent to Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, all that he's done is but a waste of time, because all the scriptures and all the duties of the Veda are meant to develop love of God. Mayavadi philosophers who do not understand the relationship between themselves, the cosmic manifestation, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are therefore simply wasting their time, and their philosophical speculation has no value. Any questions about that? And that last verse was from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's written by Vyasadeva. If he doesn't know, then nobody knows, right? Veda Vyasa is the one who compiled all these duties and scriptures and processes and all these things. They all come from him. And he's saying, if you do any of these things and you don't develop love of God, what are you doing then? Emata sarva shutrera vyakyana shuniya Shakala sannyasi kahe binaya kariya. When all the Mayavadi sannyasis heard the explanation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the basis of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan, they spoke very humbly. So we can continue this tomorrow, and I'll read this verse again, and then we will hear what the Mayavadi sannyasis said to Mahaprabhu after receiving his instructions. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki jai. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki jai. Srila Om Vishnupadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shri Upadesamrta ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. And now reading the divine words of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur on these different elements of the verse. Vitsaha nishchayadharya tat karma pravartana. Verse number 3. So, Jai Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, and Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Okay, so we're now on page 257, this, on the number 6.
400.
Sorry, 456. I'm sorry, 457. 457.
Okay.
Giving up enjoyment for Krishna's sake is necessary for sadhakas. We read this yesterday, but we'll read it again. Satisfaction of the senses is called enjoyment, or bhoga. Stopping the satisfaction of one's senses out of desire to serve Krishna is renunciation of enjoyment, or bhoga tyag. When one makes one's worldly life of enjoyment favorable to Krishna bhakti, when one makes one's worldly life of enjoyment favorable to Krishna bhakti, therein gives up the satisfaction of one's own senses and accepts everything as Krishna's prasadam, then one performs renunciation of enjoyment. So that's a fine distinction between the mood of enjoyment, means I am the enjoyer. I am the primary enjoyer, means this stuff here exists to serve me. That's illusion. Nothing exists to serve me. I and everything else exists to serve Krishna, and the sweetness and happiness and enjoyment of Krishna prasadam, that is inconceivably much sweeter than this false notion that through these bodily faculties I'm going to receive happiness. That does not happen, and it's very reactionary and full of difficulties. Is that window open? Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm freezing to death or anything. It's just... No, I think we should close the window for a minute.
Because of the noise?
It's just cold, no?
Are you opening for some air circulation?
Speaking of the senses, huh? I just want...
For some air.
Yeah, let's open it after class, maybe. I didn't, I wasn't dressed for, like, winter inside the temple. Haribol. Is that distinction clear? It take... Huh?
He lost it. Will you please say it again? He asks.
No, I'm saying that. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says we must give up the mood of material enjoyment and giving that up for Krishna's service. But what that really means is that we will join in the flow of reality. Reality, the conscious plane, everything is for Krishna and knows it. But we're thinking, we're not seeing that. We're just seeing matter that I can exploit. But that's not really truth. Nothing, can you name one atom that exists for me? Who got the booby prize and exists for me? Everything exists for Krishna and knows it. But we're seeing something like illusion. And that illusion is called matter. This thing is inferior to me and I use it for myself. It exists for me. But when we engage in all of our activities for Krishna's service, then the Krishna's prasadam comes back to us. And it is an innocent thing. There's no danger in it. There's nothing wrong with it, taking prasadam.
So, again, this is a subtle thing. So, matter is not an illusion, but the illusion is how we perceive it. Because our consciousness is, right, because there
The
are some
illusion of it is
spiritualities
called
that,
matter.
right, some spiritualities say matter is all, like, I believe the Buddhists, like, matter is an illusion, it's not real. But it is real, but our consciousness can't perceive the reality of
Yes.
the true depth of its.
Yeah.
That's a subtle thing.
Yeah,
For me,
what-
that's always been very
Yeah.
powerful. That's a powerful kind of distinction.
Conception,
Again,
yeah.
with these subtleties.
What I see as being for me is called material consciousness. That very same thing to a great devotee is a conscious divine existence, and he wants to join in that in the service of Krishna because he's not an illusion. That means it's not like if I'm trying to offer something, that is our practice, but it is already existing for Krishna. We are simply trying to come into that plane.
Realizing, the realization.
Right.
And again, we say, the material world is not here for us to exploit, but it is here so that we can make advancement. Like we're here with this body so that we can make advancement.
Yeah.
And we say everything's coming to us. So again, it's a very subtle, it's here for us, but not really. Only so that we can make advancement.
Oh, right.
Right? I'm just
Right.
thinking out loud.
Right, because of the
Again,
vice.
it's very subtle distinction.
Actually,
That's why
the
we need
whole-
Buddha to kind of clarify these things.
Actually, the whole environment is very affectionate.
So on some level, it's for us, but not really.
Affectionate means in the divine plane of service, everything is affectionate. There is no non-affection. Non-affection comes from the plane of exploitation. That this is not serving me and this is serving me.
So when we think, the universe is cold and uncaring and all these things, it's really not. It's just that we're not perceiving it properly. Our
Right.
consciousness is not
Right.
able to perceive
Right.
the truth of the material world.
It is so true. And whenever we are like in an environment that looks very pleasant for us, just remember, this is all for you, Krishna. And maybe something will reveal itself. That actually it is all divine. And it is made of something higher than I'm made out of. We're surrounded by guardians. The whole environment is guardians. But who will exploit a guardian? You will, if we want to exploit something so pure, so sweet, then we will be thrown into illusion. We will never be able to actually see that thing. Like Sita Devi. Ravana couldn't even see Sita. He wanted to exploit her. All he could see was some illusion of Sita. You can't exploit Sita Devi. She's the goddess of fortune. And we cannot exploit reality. Reality is made of something higher than I'm made out of. And sweeter. And more wonderful. So when I come to exploit, all I see is dull illusion. We cannot see reality in the mood of exploitation. We cannot. It's too high. It's too wonderful. It's too sweet. It's better than I am. So we have to practice that. And when we try to practice that, just look at the nasty little mind. Say, no, no, it's for me. I'm going to enjoy this. It's not truth. It's a big lie. We are not the direct enjoyers of anything. We are the servants. The whole environment exists to serve the Lord. He's the absolute reality. Who else are we going to serve? And then the sweetness that is reciprocal from that is overwhelming. So overwhelming to the devotee that he cannot forget it. Matter is like a madness. He's not like going to hanker for madness once he's being cured. The idea of being the direct enjoyer is just illusion. Little Ravanas all running around fighting with each other. Any other comment? Good. Thank you for that, Damodar. And number 8, and Srila Guru Maharaj says, we must apply ourselves to understand these things. We must. It's not optional. It doesn't take jnanis or high intelligence or anything like that. These are simple truths. We simply must adjust ourselves. Bhakti yoga is a process of adjustment. And the beautiful divine guardianship of the environment is coming to help us with that. If we will not accept this fact, then what will be? We won't adjust. The more that we can adjust ourselves, the more faith will grow, and we will see this truth. We will see it for ourselves. And we will want to talk about it all the time. Okay, this is the 8th principle. One should accept wealth according to the necessity of one's bhakti sadhana for all uses in life. So wealth is not a separate thing from bhakti. If one desires excessive wealth, one's bhakti will be lost. And if one does not accept wealth as necessary, a deficiency will arise in one's bhakti sadhana. So not to accept or reject anything which is necessary for bhakti. But everything has to be done in relationship with the Lord. So not artificial renunciation where one is starving or going mad from deprivation or any of these things. It's not necessary to live like that. Look at the Pandavas. The Pandavas were, Indra was looking at the capital city of Yudhishthira with envy. They had so much wealth. But they weren't thinking, this is my wealth. They were thinking, okay, Krishna's giving me a duty to do, we'll do it. And then when that time was over, happily they left it behind. They just walked away from it. Because their life was completely independent of matter. They're not scared, what if somebody takes my wealth? Oh. No fear. Full dependence on the Lord is a position of fearlessness, and don't tell me for one moment, or anyone, the scriptures are confirming, that anyone who is not fully dependent on the Lord is free of fear. No one is free from fear. Because everything, I'm so strong, you're kidding, I don't have any fear of anything. Oh yeah? Wait a few years till you're not so strong. All these moods of strength and determination and all that, they're all very exalted in the service of the Lord. It's not like we're trying to get weak, and that's some kind of humility. Arjuna was fighting with 10,000 enemy soldiers at a time and defeating them all. It's not like this is a culture of weakness, but it is a culture of nobility and dignity and service. Number 9, one should honor with great respect Sri Hari Vasara, or Sri Hari's Day, during each fortnight, typically falling on the 11th day, Ekadashi, which is Thursday, I think. All regular practices nourishing to bhakti are performed by honoring Sri Hari Vasara. That's how powerful Ekadashi is. All regular practices nourishing to bhakti are performed simply by honoring Ekadashi, or Sri Hari Vasara. By giving up all enjoyment and engaging in regular practices of bhajan on one day in each fortnight, continuous regular practice of bhajan develops simply by properly observing Ekadashi. Number 10, when amalaki trees, Indian gooseberries, sacred fig trees, tulsi plants, cows, Brahmins, and Vaishnavas are worshipped and meditated upon, all the sins of human beings are destroyed. Because all these activities are considered beneficial for the world, Krishna's favor can be attained thereby. Krishna is so much the benefactor of the world that simply by doing all these transcendentally auspicious things, the Lord is very happy, because the whole world is benefited from these things, and not materially. I mean, it's not a material kind of piety or anything like that. These are transcendental activities. Bhakti yoga. The amalaki trees, the sacred fig trees, tulsi plants, cows, Brahmins, and Vaishnavas are worshipped and meditated upon. All the sins of human beings are destroyed. Because all these activities are considered beneficial for the world, Krishna's favor can be attained thereby. These 10 limbs of bhakti are the beginning of Sri Hari Bhajan. For those who neglect these 10 limbs, attaining bhajan and Sri Bhagavan is very difficult. Just a second here, I'm just going to go back a little wee bit. Okay, so from page 452 to 456, all of these things, to 457, these 10 are being described. These 10 limbs of bhakti are the beginning of Sri Hari Bhajan. For those who neglect these 10 limbs, attaining bhajan and Sri Bhagavan is very difficult. Therefore, persons endeavoring for bhajan should, number 1, first of all, take shelter at the feet of Sri Guru. 2 and 3, receive initiation and instruction. 3, engage in service to Guru. 4, they should follow the conduct of the sadhus. 5, learn the conclusions or siddhanta of the sadhus. Number 6, they should reside at a holy place dedicated to Krishna, to make their own life fully immersed in Krishna. And 7, they should give up for Krishna's sake their enjoyment and satisfaction, their full, the personal, not in relation to Krishna. They should accept wealth through their occupation so that their Bhagavan-centered life, favorable to bhakti, is maintained. 9, for the sake of regular practice of bhakti, they should observe rites dedicated to Sri Krishna, such as Sri Harivasara and Sri Krishna Janmashtami. And number 10, they should respect sacred fig trees and so on, to establish respect for the world filled with the magnificent creations of Sri Bhagavan. These 10 prescriptive rules must be followed, but if one does not follow along with them the 10 prohibitive rules written below, then one's bhakti sadhana will never become steady. So there's 10 favorable, and then there to avoid the 10 which are unfavorable. Charati prayasascha, prajapanyamagraha. So doing the positive, but also we must avoid the negative. So if we take all of the medicine given by the doctor, but we still go on doing the things that are making us sick, then what's the doctor going to do? Okay. So this takes endeavor. It takes some endeavor. Number 1, one should not associate with persons who are averse to Bhagavan. Meeting with them in the course of one's occupation is inevitable. One should interact with them to that extent. When one's duty is finished, one should not maintain any further interaction with them. Those in whose hearts the true nature of Sri Krishna Bhakti has not arisen remain ever proud in the shelter of Gyan and Karma. Therefore they are averse to Bhagavan. What to speak of sinful activities? This is not even mentioning those. Vikarma. Therefore they are averse to Bhagavan. Followers of Dharma who worship many gods, Mayavadis thirsty for impersonal Gyan, and atheists who are opposed to the Vedic scriptures are all averse to Bhagavan. And associating with the practitioner devotees whose habits are mixed with unfortunate habits, we should also avoid that. We will associate with the best part of everyone and not join in some inauspicious activity, even with someone who is, beginning their practice of bhakti. That will also bring us down, and it will not be very good for the person with whom we are associating. In fact, it has no goodness in it at all. Number 2, one should not make disciples of persons in whose hearts Shraddha in pure bhakti has not arisen. If one does, the bhakti tradition will consequently be polluted. In other words, people take disciples who, just because, they want more disciples for one reason or another. Number 3, one should give up eagerness for grandiose endeavors because Bhagavad Bhakti is diminished by them. Is that clear?
Yes.
So if we do something really big and fancy and more than is maintainable by us in the spirit of pure devotion, then we will fall down from that. Actually, we need to establish the simple reality of Krishna devotion without any dependence on anything. And from there, many things can be done. But that foundation of Sharanagati and simplicity has to be established. And from there, as Gurudev would say, from there you can shoot the rocket. But that platform where the rocket must be shot from, that has to be very, very strong. Is that a clear point?
The foundation is Sharanagati.
Yes, and all these things, these are foundational. And so, like Srila Prabhupada made so many temples, but nothing is unfavorable for him. Everything is, but if we do something really fancy and big, and it's not based on very strongly established principles of bhakti, then those things will be a disturbance for our own practice. cannot depend upon a thing. We cannot depend upon anything. We will speak always the truth, and whatever the result of that will be Krishna's arrangement. Text 4. Any question about any of that?
In point number 3, what does he mean with
Oh, sorry, I didn't say that one, did I?
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah,
sorry.
thank you for reminding me. What was that?
It's about 3.
Oh, no, I did. Sorry.
Oh, you did?
Once you-
Eagerness for grandiose endeavors. What does that mean?
Endeavors meaning doing something big and fancy. It can be like just getting overwhelmed by sort of and distracted by some goal in one's life. It can it is more than we can maintain in the spirit of devotion. That's the main thing. Or taking some kind of, there's many examples, but undertaking some endeavor that will be devastating for us if it's not successful. Do you know what I mean? Like just getting too much invested in some big effort that is going to be very distracting for us in our spiritual life.
How about if Sri Guru is giving us a service to do something like that? And then if we remember the principles of karma yoga too, that we endeavor, we do the best that we can, and then the result is up to him.
Oh, then that's okay.
That's different, right?
Of course. But there is such a thing as I am not capable. You see, they also want us to steer our own ship in one sense. So when you're finding yourself getting into trouble, if you are not capable of seeing everything in relationship to Krishna in that environment, then you can step back from it also. You can discuss that with Gurudev. That I think I feel and if he says, I will be there with you, I'm reminding you, I'm giving you all my strength. Many things can happen actually. But we also have to take responsibility for our own ability. And we have many examples of that. But at the same time, we will check, is it my hesitation because of laziness, because of fear, or is it just really I am feeling I feel that I'm not a good enough swimmer to go into this depth. Many things like that, but Sushimiksha is always there. Is it just that I just don't want to, or it's just too much for me, I don't want to work that hard, or I don't want, you know what I mean? There are many, many things to examine, but you are taking part in that process, and you can discuss things with Guru. Definitely. Jaya. Okay, so now tomorrow we'll continue with number 4. All these good things have to be discussed. And Srila Guru Maharaj, when he was questioned about these kinds of things, he was saying, you consult with Vaishnavas that you trust. Consult. And consult with Guru if he's still present. You can discuss these things. Hari Radha Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Radha Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunath. Hey Jai Gosai Gauri Charana Vandan. Jai Te Vignanasha Vistapura. Hey Jai Gosai Jammu Tarada. Tansabara Pararenu Mor Panchagra. Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva. Janame Moreya Bila. Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilaba. Hey Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Machayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koriyan. Hari Naam Sankirtan Kohe Narottamada. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Jai Saparikashi Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Stoter Sat Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Astoter Sat Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Dhammacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Shamananda Srinivas Thakur Prabhu Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Maha Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Sakra Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Mati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.